from the background in my presentation also, the Indonesia is expected to produce around 2 million vehicles in 2025, and the government estimates 20% of them are the backgrounds in my presentation also. Major cost making in this electric vehicle around 85%, and so I would like to try to invent a method for producing this raw material of battery by using our local limonite ore is because of this background, and I try also to think about wait, let me to search for looking for the data. According, it starts with since economic sectors that has the most carbon emissions in transportation raw material of the industrial revolution 4.0 is also accelerate the automation process in our life. So I think about this will make the needs for the raw material for electric vehicle to be increasing. So that's also one of my reasons to try to introduce this method in my topic of this lecture.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now, Pak Sony, please, Pak. Yeah. Thank you.
Suaranya Pak Sony masih di mute, Pak Sony.
Masih.
Sorry, Pak Pras, are you going to another question maybe?
Okay. Cukup Pak. Satu aja Pak.
Okay.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Second question, maybe Pak Ferry, because he's a geologist, maybe you can ask other five question.
I will share with my colleagues. With Dr. Alvin also from geology, so he also working in mineral village, so maybe he also lot of question for you. From my side, maybe the idea for utilization of limonite, right? Yeah, for battery is common. So what is the unique and different idea from you? What you propose with the other idea? I mean, utilization of limonite for battery is common, right?
Maybe it was common for foreign industry, but in Indonesia there is not still an Indonesian nickel industry for using this limonite ore to produce the raw material for the electric vehicle battery.
Because I heard from Professor Zaki Mubarak in his lecture, I mean in Sambuga, he also explained about the utilization of limonite for nickel for battery. So what is different?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. Please let me to start. The uniqueness for maybe I would like to explain about the uniqueness and advantages in my topic overall first. And then I would like to explain the difference. And the first, because in Indonesia there is also a company that produce the raw material for electric vehicle battery by using the different process. The process is pyrometallurgy. So if we compare to them, it will be easily to be understood. The uniqueness and the advantages by my idea is first, this idea is going to extract two base metal from one ore that are the main component in MMC baterai compared to the pyrometallurgy or the e-whip WDB in Halmahera industry in Halmahera. Their process is pyrometallurgical process, and it cannot produce cobalt easily. And the second one, my idea is going to use hydrometallurgical pad, just like my lecturer, Professor Jaki, has explained. Not only needs lower energy consumption, emits lower carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide, but also has the same production rate by using the technology of high pressure exit leaching. It will has the same production rate as another company that using pyrometallurgy. And three, this idea is going to utilize lime ore that will enhance our additional value of our natural resource in our country. And in producing the chemical compound for electric vehicle battery, we specially try to producing the chemical compound in common metallurgy industry. It will try to produce the pure metal, but in my topic, I will try to produce the chemical compound. The chemical compound, it has advantages that it will given 1.2 until 1.4 times economical price than the pure metal one. And for this idea is going to support also the electric vehicle development in Indonesia and enhance the number of battery industry. And last is this idea is going to support either SDGs 2030 or Industrial Revolution 4.0 in Indonesia. My ideas, my ideas with my lectural ideas. I would like to clarify. I would like to clarify before it. My lecturer speech in Sabuga. It only explains the most common process, and it does not too much specific. But compared with my article or my paper that I have write down, I also write down about the specific process. And in my process, the different or the specification is I would like to produce this lamina ore directly into the chemical compound, that is nickel sulfate and cobalt sulfate. I will not try to produce to become the pure metal nickel one and then pure metal cobalt again. I will try to arrange a method for producing the chemical compound directly. And that's all.
Yeah, because this is the student competition based on SMART. I mean specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic and time based. So can you explain to us how is your idea can be realized in the reality? I mean, based, time based, and also measurable. I mean,
waktunya udah habis.
Okay, thank you.
Oke, waduh, pendek ternyata 15 menit ya. Oke, thank you.
Thank you, Darwin.
Mas Darwin. The second person, siapa PTSK? Second person is Radiani Prasetya dari SITB. Ya, please open your face, please.
Yes.
Radiani sudah?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. But I can see your face. This one.
Here.
Raise your hand.
Oh ya.
Yeah. How can I call you? Radiani or Pras?
Just Radiani is okay, sir.
Radiani. Okay, Radiani. you will be asked the question from Mr. Architect.
My turn.
Please,
Okay.
you give a question.
Right. Good morning, Radiani. When I saw your papers, I was interested in one thing actually. You promoted that we need, before we jump into a precision farming, you said that we need to go through the smart farming first. But one of the aspects that you are promoting in the smart farming was accuracy, which actually entwine with precisions. So how would you explain that to us?
The point of smart farming is to minimize the gap between highly capable farmers which can understand precision technology with those farmers who actually does not understand the precision technology at all. What we're trying to promote in the accuracy for smart farming is to make people learn to promote how they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to treat the land, the farms, the plant. Basically, the accuracy that I'm trying to talk about is how to teach farmers technology at all. That actually they need to be accurate. We cannot jump directly into, yes, 100% accurate is not possible when they're not even capable of buying with minimum financial capability. Therefore, the accuracy is trying to get the people to understand how they're supposed to be. That accuracy is important. So slowly they will get to that point where they can be 100% accurate actually in terms of precision farming. So smart farming is just a bridge from 0% accuracy to 100% accuracy.
So it is interesting when you answer that smart farming is a bridge towards precisions. Bridge needs a foundations, right? So what kind of foundations that you are looking for? I mean, the farmers in the rural areas are most likely farmers who are far away from, say, infrastructures like signals and that satellite based transmissions. What are the first steps? I know you mentioned some of the first steps on your papers, but they are not actually related to a development of a physical infrastructures, for example. So how would you tackle that?
Yes, of course, that would be a very big problem since most of our farmers are far from those transmission technology. Therefore, I see smart farming is not as a short-term program. It's a way long-term program that we need to, that in my proposal only, I propose that the first step only can take as long as 10 years. Because in this process, we need to reach those people who already have that signal, smartphone, and those kind of facilities. But for those who are hard to reach, that would be a way far. That, of course, we need to promote technology first into that area to propose signals and like simple technology as transmission. But of course, in short term, it is not possible yet. That's why I see smart farming as a way long term.
Okay. Pasani, can I still ask for one more trivial question? Okay. I couldn't hear you, but I think you let me out.
Sorry. Yeah, please.
Are you familiar with an app called, or maybe a program called DigiCop or Digital Corporations?
Not really, sir.
So if you're, I think that's what one of the program or apps that have been developed in our campus actually. It's basically tackling some of the problems that you are going to tackle. But I think if you go into that actually, into that programs or study group or whatever, there are informations on Ristek Dikti News, so you can basically chip in and put forward your ideas into what can be a smart farming system in the next 10 years. So that's my roles. Thank you very much, Pak Sony.
Okay, thank you, Pak Alfred. Okay. The second question, Ibu Kantina, please, you can raise your question.
Okay, thank you, Pak Sony. Radiani, could you explain which generation of farmers is the most suitable for this project? And is there maybe a social issue with that? And who will you work together to overcome that issue?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Which generation of farmers actually doesn't matter, because my first goal of having this smart farming is that it has to be as inclusive as possible, that we hope even any generation can use this smart farming idea. However, we see that the problem with old generation and traditional farming is that it's really hard to introduce technologies and some newer informations into them. Therefore, of course, there will be social problems. And I see that within this smart farming, it is important to include the civil service, what we call it penyuluh pertanian. We have to include them into this project because they're actually the one who used to be socializing into the people. We have to introduce this program slowly but sure, because in my idea, the smart farming is not yet a precision farming. It has to be as inclusive as possible, any age, any generation, and any level of financial capabilities.
Okay, thank you.
Another question, Bu Gati?
No, it's enough. It's already three questions.
Okay.
Sorry, Bu.
So do you still have how many minutes, Bu Desri? How many minutes?
5.
7.
Okay.
That's good.
Yeah. Because you are from SITH and I'm also from SITH, it's quite I shouldn't ask you, but because I'm jury, I have to ask you some question. Radiani, you are from Pertanian Engineering, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, do you think your idea can be implemented? If you want to implement it, how long it took to reach the farmer can adopt precision farming?
It has been stated in my paper actually that it will take a very long time. It needs a pioneering project like samples in
How
certain
long?
areas.
1 century or 10 century? How long? You should answer that.
Yeah, for the first step only, I think it will take as long as 10 years.
No, very long time. Why?
Yeah, it is a very long time.
Why such long time to implement the what is called precision farming? It's not difficult for big farming.
Actually, it can be way faster than that if we're talking about those farmers who actually adapt to technology, like not far from the urban area, who actually
Yeah,
already understand technology. But for those who never even touch technology, that will be way harder. What I say by 10 years is 100% of farmers are understanding smart farming. Not like, if we're talking about small samples, not far from Bandung, for example, they already adapt to technology. It will be much faster. It can be only 2 years, 3 years, or even a year, it is possible. But if we're talking about the whole Indonesia, that will take a very long time.
Yeah, I think that's right. The small farmer in the urban area should adopt precision farming very easily. They already use what is called apa namanya aqua farming. Is that right? Something
Yes.
like that. That's another thing, and I think with the introduction the aqua farming, it's very easy for the small villages adopt these things. In KKN, we try to introduce that, and they are very easy to pick up the system. It's not that's not as precision as it should be because some nutrition must be available that, and they cannot produce precision nutrition, but they can use organic nutrition. That's better than using ordinary farming. It can be produced cheaper and much faster than really farming. I'm quite what is called uh, optimist that precision farming can be implemented very nearly, as long as the 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 educated person like you willing to promote the precision farming to the villages. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's necessary for uh, educated and capable person to reach directly to the people.
Yeah,
But
such KKN can be used for the transfer technology because like pipes, plastic pipe and things like that is also available in the villages. It's not very difficult. Even in Irian Jaya, my son was working with PLN for few months in Irian Jaya. They can afford some plastic pipe in the nearest cities, and then they can implement in the villages. Of course, not the villages very far away that you can have to go with aeroplanes, but around villages, around cities in Jayapura can adopt this kind of technology, I think. This is the thing that you can think with your friends in pertanian to organize trainings and socialization to implement the precision farming. Okay. Any other comment from that, Radiani? Hello, Radiani? Are you on?
yes, sir.
Okay. No other comment?
Not at the moment, sir.
So how your plan with your friends in smart farming or precision farming? Do you have any plan with himpunan or something?
From now on, we're working on a project of trying to make precision in watering and irrigation, sir, because we see that water is a very valuable resource, and we often just waste it in the farming. Therefore, we're trying to find a technology and a method how to precisely giving water.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. The next person will be, sorry, I have to check. The next person will be, oh, sorry. Sorry. Dari FTMD ya? Oke. From FTMD, siapa namanya?
My name is Wira from the Faculty of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering.
Sorry, Mira?
Wira.
Wira ya?
Yeah.
Okay. Wira, I will give you some one or two questions for your paper. Please explain very quickly, or maybe half minute or 1 minute. What is the distinction?
Sorry, sir. Could you repeat that? Your voice.
Sorry.
Yeah.
There is a telephone ringing. Okay, Wirya, can you explain quickly what is the distinction your ideas with other idea?
So basically, we're aiming for Indonesian farmers to adapt with technology. So what I'm proposing here is by using swarm robotics, which has the exact same characteristics as social insects. So basically, as we're targeting Indonesian farmers, which of course differ with other farmers, say US farmers, we need to adapt Indonesian farmers with this kind of technology. So I made sure that the core concept of swarm robotics itself, swarming, is really easy to use, it's really easy to operate, and everyone could use it, because the core concept of swarm robotics is that it should be quasi-identical, and it should be really simple, however, with different locations and assignments. So basically, we're targeting swarm robotics on Indonesian farmers, of course, followed up by socializations, so everyone could use it, as we're targeting a span age of 25 to 45 for their productivity. So the distinction here is for Indonesian farmers to use swarm robotics, and it is easy to operate for them, especially in rice fields. Thank you for the question, sir.
Okay. The second thing is that why don't you use aeroplane drone to evaluate the watering in paddy field, which is more easy than using your what is called your device. Yeah, I don't know how your device works, but like.
Yes. So basically, we're comparing drones and robotics from the ground. Thank you for the question. That's a really interesting approach.
Why don't you use drone, flying drone, which is faster and can cover very fast area?
Yes, that is an interesting approach, and I've also made some researches from my upperclassmen too, which has proposed the same idea, which is from drones, but a drone can only see what is from top, and we can only see from the normal vegetation index, so basically the color of leaves. However, my aim for my proposal is for us to check the color alteration from the rice plants itself, say the branch, the plant, what can only be seen from the ground. And a drone can only be used, say, once, because we can't use multiple swarm drones because that would disturb many detection systems as it's aerial. However, each swarm robotics that I've proposed here, say swarming, it has its own distinct and separate location individually. So basically, if we're on ground, we can see more things up close from compare rather than an aerial. So that's an interesting
but
approach
it's
too.
probably for the first overview, maybe you can use flying drone, but when we want to take close, then you can direct your robot to that area. Is that, do you think it's more sensible or not? Please explain more.
Yes, if we're talking about sensibility, then there's a comparison between an economical approach between robots on ground and robots in air. So basically, if we're taking drones out to the field, there's a lot to be maintained, say cost, operational costs, also manufacturing costs. There are a lot to take into consideration if we're talking about comparison between aerial robots and ground robots. Basically, it could be more efficient if we're talking about terms of observation and the economical approach, and even the reliability of the system itself in the observation and also in the maintenance of these kinds of robots.
Okay, thank you. Please, the second jury will be Pak Pras. Maybe you can give one or two questions.
Pak Pras, voice Pak.
Yeah. Mr. Sonia, actually I have the same question with you, so I'm satisfied with the questions. So it's
Okay.
good. Okay, thank you.
Next jury, Pak Alfred maybe.
Okay.
Pak Ferry, sorry.
Sorry.
Go, Mas.
Okay, thank you.
Ya betul.
I heard Ferry. So good morning, Wira.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, it's very interesting idea. So your idea is very cheap, I think, only 2 million, right?
Yes. However, that's an estimation.
You mean this is we can use one robot in how wide area?
So this for me I did some bill of materials observation on this, and it cost 2.3, right? But this is only limited to its capacity. Say, it's using a communication module radius with a radius of 60 miles of coverage.
60 miles.
60 miles if we're using radius.
So it's mean how meter in the meter?
60 miles, 96 kilometers.
Oh, right. Enough, I think. So if very cheap, maybe a lot of farmer will interesting, right? So, but why the utilization of farming robotic is not very common in Indonesia? I mean, they still use labor for detecting pests. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So basically, why are we still using machineries in Indonesia? It's because we're talking about the familiarity of Indonesian farmers with the industry 4.0. So basically, it's because Indonesia itself doesn't have a lot of industries in robotics and automation. So that's why in the agricultural system, we could come to a conclusion that it's based on our familiarity of the Indonesian society. So even in the US, we could compare that they're even using robotics for their agricultural system in Japan, in Vietnam. Even in the Asia continent, with Indonesia's population, we're still lacking in technological and agricultural system management.
Yeah, so by this reality, so what is your opinion? Is it possible to increase farming robotic technology in Indonesia?
Yes. If you're asking for specific figures, however, I can't give you a definite answer. But my aim, the core concept of my proposal is for us to aim for Indonesian farmers, which is why I proposed swarm robotics. And I made it as cheap, as easy, as simple as possible for anyone to use. And we're also aiming for 25 to 45, and that I'm emphasizing that because people at that span age is productive, is keen to learn. That's why I made it in my presentation clear that we're aiming for 25 to 45. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wira. From me, enough.
Yes.
So, okay, thank you.
Silakan.
We still have more time.
Okay, then we have still more time. Do you have other question, Pak Ferry?
No. So
Maybe
go ahead.
Ibu Gantina atau Pak Alfred dulu, Pak Alfred dulu.
Bu Gantina mau duluan?
Apa Bu Gantina dulu boleh, terserah.
Belum ada, ya udah. Saya dulu aja deh. I just okay. I just learned that these kind of robots that you are trying to propose is called agribots. Is that right?
Storm robotics.
Yeah. In general terms, they call it agribots, right? Agricultural robots, which is quite a general terms. When I read some of the challenges that it's faced in the real life conditions, one of the major problems was battery, which being talked about by Darwin. This is the battery. So how effective it will be for one robot to run before we need to recharge, because it can be very sensitive to the farmers, right? They used to doing hard labor, checking the plants themselves, doing whatever they can do by themselves, and then when you replace that with a tool that can replace their works, they would most likely to know how effective it would be. Because then if it takes longer to charge the battery, or if it even use a solar cell battery, for example, so how effective it would be to replace their hard labor works that deemed to be successful to this day.
Thank you for the question. So that's an interesting approach. We're talking about reliability and effectiveness then. So what I'm proposing is by using lithium polymer battery, which has a cycle charge of 300 to 500 times. And that would last, in storming, I've calculated for about 2 to 3 hours. However, I chose lithium polymer battery for it because it has less gas leak than other batteries. Basically, it has the least probability of experiencing chemical failures, because I myself have experience in robotics project utilizing the lithium polymer batteries, and this is the most effective way for us to use, well, say, in terms of reliability and efficiency and effectiveness. However, if you're asking for specific batteries other than lithium polymer, where I only have experience in lithium polymer, and this is maybe the best approach for us to talk about reliability in batteries.
Okay, whichever you use, basically it's going to be a solution to it. But the core questions was about how effective it would be to replace the hard labor. I mean, they work for example, 8 hours a day, checking the plants on different plots of land. I mean, if the robots can be used only for 2-3 hours in the rough terrain, I know they're going to be working in muddy terrain, which is really difficult to walk through, right? Because even us quite difficult to walk through. And then it's an interesting concept. I mean, you put some ideas into emulate the robots to be quite similar with the tractors or something with a very sturdy wheel so that it can move easily towards the muddy areas. But then the power consumption is going to be a problem, or not a problem. It's going to be a challenge. That's why the reason I asked about how effective it would be. If it's only 2-3 hours and then you have to charge it again, and then they would think, oh, I did this one plot of land with half an hour checking the plants, for example, and then robots die down, and then you have to recharge it, and then you have to wait, and then see. How do you see that the kind of challenge that I'm posing to you? If you have more opinions to that, then I'll more likely to.
Right. So let me elaborate a little bit. So basically, I said 2 to 3 hours, but its operation in one sitting won't be as much as 2 to 3 hours because we're using numerous robots in a vast field, right? So it has its own locomotion, it has its assigned location, and it won't reach too much as 2 to 3 hours. Basically, it would operate for about 10 to 15 minutes because every robot has its own location, every robot has its own assignment, right? And after it's done, if it has checked every rice plant in the field, it's its own location, then it could finish. So if you're asking about how effective it is in its operation, I can't provide you with specific figures, but this is just, however, an anticipation for the effectiveness that this would reach to be really effective in replacing farmers' labor, especially if you said that they work for 8 hours a day in monitoring the rice plants, but we have a lot of robots working for only 10 to 15 minutes in one sitting. So if you're comparing the figures, then I'm quite sure that you can come to a conclusion that it's quite effective in one operation in one day or even in the long term.
Okay, so we just need to replace efforts with quantity. Is that what you're quoting? Okay.
Waktunya udah habis, Pak.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bu Gantina.
Terima kasih. Berikutnya siapa, Bu Desri?
Berikutnya Royan dari SF.
Oh, dari SF, Royan, mana orangnya? Nah, Royan. The first jury, maybe Bu Gantina will ask the question.
Thank you, Pak Sony. Royan, what is the unit cost of this product?
Well, the unit cost of this product, according to production cost, is roughly 9,000 rupiah, but we sell it for 14,000 rupiah to get profit by 56%.
How effective this product for the COVID patient?
According to pharmacological data, there is a test for each essential oil to relieve the symptoms, and each one of them report that each of essential oil can relieve their symptom. For example, antivirus corona from Balik Bantan made by eucalyptus oil, and this product is also made by eucalyptus oil, and the participant in the pharmacological test report that their symptom has been relieved by it.
Have you already used it?
Not yet, but
so if the COVID incubation is 2 weeks, then how many products that I need to release my sickness?
Well, according to the inhaler with similar amount of essential oil, the essential oils can last long until 3 months, but that's according to the storage and how many times you use it a day. But the dosage is usually as much as you need, just like flu inhaler. You inhale as many as you wish until the symptoms is relieved.
How many stick do you need for each patient?
Well, in my opinion, 2 weeks you can just use one stick if you want to relieve symptom that is kicked in during the 2 weeks of incubation period.
Hello?
Hello?
Ya, silakan Bu Gantina.
Okay. Sorry. How many?
I think one stick is enough to relieve the symptoms during 2-week period.
15,000. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe come back to me, yeah, because it's going around. It is interesting to your research in eucalyptus oil. Do you know where the eucalyptus trees available in Indonesia?
Well, eucalyptus oil usually cultivated from eastern part of Indonesia, that is Papua and Nusa Tenggara Timur, but it can also be found in ITB campus at Jakarta.
Oh yeah, I know, but you need lots of trees, not just few trees, because in industry you need lots of biological material to produce many sticks, because the essential oils is maybe only few grams for 1 kilo's leaves, and producing 1 kilo leaves, it's not very easy in eucalyptus.
Thinking about eucalyptus, I was in Australia when I was degrees in Australia, trying to study the eucalyptus oil. In Australia, most of the trees is eucalyptus.
Yeah.
About 500 species there. Indonesia maybe few species, but Australia is the center of diversity of the eucalyptus oil. So, do you think your technology better to be offered in Australia, or you have other question, other thinking?
I think it will focus more from eucalyptus product in Indonesia because eucalyptus that I use in my product is Eucalyptus globulus, which usually can be found in Indonesia. And other ingredients beside of eucalyptus is also obtained from Indonesia, which is camphor, lemon, and anise.
Okay, anise is available in Indonesia. Anise.
Yes, adas manis is available from field in Banten and Surabaya.
Okay, good. So, do you have is the formulation is already researched by you or by other scientists?
By other scientists from international journals.
Okay, not from Indonesian journal, Indonesian scientists.
Pardon me, sir?
The research was not done by Indonesian researcher.
Only one from Indonesian researcher, that is eucalyptus from Balitbangtan from Kementerian Pertanian.
So there is an Indonesian researcher in that paper.
Yes.
All right. Do you ask to this person whether this stick will be useful, or is it still your imagination producing sticks from that formulation?
It's still in my theoretic mind, but according to those journal, I think it's very possible for this stick to relieve many symptoms of COVID-19.
Because it is oil, basically essential oils. How do you pack the oil into your stick?
So I pack my essential oils in my stick by dropping the ingredients into cotton wick. So the essential oil will stick there, and when you relieve the reliever, you inhale the vapor from essential oil from the cotton wick.
So there is a cotton
inside the
stick.
Container. Yes.
Okay. Just like okay. Okay. The second thing, to produce this stick, price 9,000. Is that right?
Yes, we sell it for 14,000 rupiah.
14.
Eh? 4,000. 14,000. Oh, okay. It's a low scale, yeah? Not a large scale. 14,000.
Pardon me, sir?
The 40,000 is the price when you make a model. Is that right?
Yes.
Not when you produce it large scale. It's quite different. Usually, if you produce it in a large scale.
No, it's just a model that I made from all of ingredients and all package that I need.
Okay. Another thing, maybe my question is already more than enough. Another question, maybe.
Okay. Thank you for the question, sir.
Great, thank you, Mr. Sonny. It's quite interesting, and yes, I think it's good presentation, and I can understand quite well. But I'm still have a question. Of course, I'm not from the field of biology, but I think it's common question. You describe the uses of each of the plants, camphor trees, anise, eucalyptus, and lemons. But can you explain the effects of this combination? Of course, we expect that this combination can relieve the symptoms during the incubation of the virus, but I cannot find any explanation about how these 4 ingredients combine and affect and affect and the process of the release. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the question, sir.
Yeah.
So the first ingredient I use is camphor, which has antitussive, anti-inflammation, and analgesic effect. Each of these effect has been tested on animal during preclinical trials, and each animal is induced by, for example, citric acid to make them cough, and when we use essential oil to each of the animal subject, the cough or the soreness of breath is relieved. The second ingredient I use is lemon, which has stress relieving and analgesic effect. And based from the journal that I use, the stress relieving effect has a mechanism of dopamine and serotonin modulation in central nervous system, because it helped to relieve the mental problem that is caused by COVID-19, according to WHO. And the third ingredient I use is anise, which has antitussive or cough suppressant, antivirus, and anti-inflammation. And the fourth ingredient, the last ingredient I use is eucalyptus, which has anti-inflammation, antivirus, and bronchodilating effect. That's it.
Oh yes,
okay.
of course you have described.
Okay, please, continue.
Thank you. Of course, you have described in your articles the uses of each ingredients. But my question is, how these 4 ingredients interrelated, where they were combined and effective to relieve but because I never see any description in your articles. So the question is how the 4 ingredients combine. Of course, we expect that the combination is effective for relieving symptoms, but we need explanation about it.
Okay, thank you for the perspective, sir. So based from another article that I read, the anise or adas manis in my product and eucalyptus can have a synergistic effect on antivirus properties, because both of these material can inhibit the Cl Pro and M Pro, which is main protease and chymotrypsin-like protease that help the virus to replicate inside the cell. So if I imagine the cell as a factory, these 2 enzymes, M-Pro and Cl-Pro, is 2 workers that work in making the virus. So both of these ingredients can inhibit those workers to make another copy of virus, making the proliferation of the virus to be inhibited. So the effect is synergistic of each essential oil.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Royan. Thank you, Mr. Ron. Sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe we still have time. Next jury, maybe Pak
Pak Ferry.
Ferry, ya?
Yes.
Okay. Ryan, good morning. So
good morning,
maybe,
sir.
So maybe I just have one question about your claim that transanetol from adas oil,
yes,
can inhibit the virus. So every virus can inhibit by this transanetol.
I think the viruses that can be inhibited by this transanetol is around the herpes virus and and adenovirus, as well as coronavirus, beta coronavirus, and gamma coronavirus. So it's not every kind of virus, but certainly COVID-19 is included in the family that this active agent inhibit.
Okay, so you mean in the family of coronavirus, your formulation can inhibit?
Yes, but it's not as potent as synthetic drug like remdesivir or lopinavir, of course. It's just a herbal drug after all.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yes, that's one question.
Okay, thank you for the question.
I'm very want to ask another question, because how the mechanism that the virus can be inhibited is because the polymerase or other system in the cell can be inhibited, but with unsitol or something like that.
Oh, thank you, sir. So the mechanism that transanisole and 1.8 cineol from eucalyptus is the replication process of the virus using both of active agent to inhibit the M-Pro and CL-Pro of this virus to replicate.
Waktunya habis.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Next students, who's the next student, Ibu Destri?
Feby Eliana, Pak, dari Stay.
Oke, siapa? Eliani?
Feby, Stay.
Ya, dari Stay. Ya, silakan. Siapa ini? Halo?
Siapa Pak Sony? Ditentukan saja.
Ditentukan aja Pak.
Feby ya, Feby.
Iya, Feby.
Ya. Sudah siap?
Ya, ya.
Halo Feby, nggak kedengaran dari saya?
Suaranya kurang
keras.
Keras? Halo.
Nah, gitu. Ya, Feby, you have to answer in English. The next jury will be Pak Alven. Please, Pak Alven, you can ask some question.
Okay, thanks. Morning, Feby. It's so interesting to see your papers and your presentations and the videos. My questions would be, this is the first time, it depends on how you tackle the questions. The apps that you propose or the system that you propose is merely depends on people's response. And there were other apps available, whether it's on iOS or Android or some other private kind of tools or apps that can be used to people to tackle depressions. So what is your spatial idea towards these apps that can tackle the problem of depressions? So what's the difference between your concepts and other people's concepts? So there are some apps in there. I can list some, only some. Even Facebook has it. There's an app called Dailyo and some different apps, some other apps. So could you explain to us what's the difference of your concept in regard to tackling this depression problem, which is very interesting?
Okay, so first of all, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Pak Alven, for the question. I'm going to answer it. What's different is, actually, I don't really know the application that you mentioned before, but I also already searched about the application that can help us to tackle depression. They have online consultation now in Indonesia. They're like Relief and many other applications. But the problem that they haven't tackled is they are actually serving people who already know their condition. They're already aware about their condition. But actually, the fact in Indonesia, the literacy about mental health is still very low. So those kind of apps cannot fully serve everyone yet. So by having these apps, this innovation that I proposed, there will be a system that can automatically detect your depression rate, and you don't need to do anything extra. You don't need to learn anything new or have extra effort to use the application. So it's very easy to use because yeah, basically you don't need to learn anything new to use it. You can just use it right away. And this is very useful because usually to tackle depression, yeah, we rely on others, but it also communicating to others, where actually some people are not really good in communication. Like it's hard for them to tell others what they feel. So by this system, it can like delete that part, and then it can automatically give you the result. Is my answer answering your question?
Okay, thanks very much for the answers. That's very comprehensive. But I still have one question regarding results. This is getting interesting because making these apps to be fully automated,
Yeah.
giving a response almost automatically, means that you are disconnecting the humane interactions into the problems that people are facing. So how would you kind of judge whether the answers that will be given from the system, from the machine learning coming out from whatever questions they are posing or whatever algorithm you're putting into, and then it all gives you some answers to that. So how would you kind of determine or judges the answers will be the best for the patients? Because when we do a direct consultation, say that from a person to a psychologist, for example, even then the response that are given by the psychologist will be taken differently from person to person. So how would you gonna tackle that?
Okay, that's an interesting question. So I'm going to answer it. Okay, actually, if you point out that my application actually dismissed the human part, it's not correct. It will.
No. I read your papers, and then you put some of the psychologists into the bracket of the system. That's true. What I'm asking is, how would you kind of it's maintain the quality of the answer, really? How would you kind of give that assurance to people that the answer will be the answer that would help people? Because if you be given a suggestions, for examples, the level that you are taking as suggestions with some of your friends could be different, and they can transfer it, or they can translate the order or translate the suggestion differently.
Okay, I got the question. So it's about the accuracy of the data, the answer, right? So actually, the system that I propose take two types of data. The first one is from the behavioral data, which is the data that you get from the social media, and then it will be analyzed with the linguistic analysis to make sure are you depressed or not. But I know that taking one data sometimes is not that accurate, right? So that's why we use two data, and the second one is the data from your physics, from your body. That's why I'm implementing wearables Internet of Things, and through this technology I'm going to take the data of the heart rate, because there are researchers out there from the journals that I read that actually there is relation between heart rate and also your mental health. So in summary and in brief, people who are depressed tend to have lower heart rate. So actually, I'm combining these two. Well, each one of them can measure your depression rate, but I'm combining both of them so that it can have higher accuracy. And another question is how to maintain the result, right? That's why I'm also using machine learning, and how to give more accuracy is by training more and giving more data to it. That's why I'm also proposing to have like partnerships with universities that have the psychology major, so that we can gather more data and build a better system.
Okay, it is interesting that you mentioned about the heart rate data. I tried to find some reference to it, and I read some this morning because I couldn't sleep because I had to review the videos. I read that another type of data, such as how often you are misspelled words in your typings, and they call it I don't know what they call it, but that can also be helpful towards determining whether someone's already had an incipient depressions. So heart rate alone could tell some things, but not necessarily be a direct one-to-one correlations to whether you have low heart rate and you are depressions. It's some people has their low heart rate like normal, right? So they don't have that. But then you combine it with other data. So I would suggest you, if you're gonna push through these programs, then there are some more data that can be recorded related to the bodies. I mean, how you write, how you type, and how fast you type, how often you make mistakes. Those can be input into your program. So then there'll be more data to calculate, and then more data to be put into the machine learning to make them learn and to give them more accurate answers about things.
Yeah, actually, what you say is totally correct, that some people have low heart rate, right? And it doesn't mean that they're depressed, but to be specific, the one that we're measuring here is the variability. So it's called as heart rate variability, which is actually variation in time between the heartbeats. So it's not the heartbeat itself. There's
Okay.
another thing.
Okay. Good. Thank you very much, Pasani.
Thank you.
Thanks, Abby.
Yeah.
Pak Sony.
Langsung aja Bugan mungkin, Bugan.
Okay. If I use this device and I stated stress, is there any recommendation for this device?
Sorry, Bu Gantina, can you please repeat it? My internet was kind of bad just now.
Okay. If I use this device and I stated stress, is there any further recommendation?
Oh, okay. Okay, so first, good morning, Bu Gantina. Thank you for the
Morning,
question. And actually, this is the interesting part of this application. This is where the human interaction part, okay? So when you're stated that you're stressed, there will be a notification, not only to you, but also to your friends. Why do I propose to your friends? Because I'm looking at the fact that the number of professionals, mental health professional in Indonesia is really low. It's stated in the data, right? So rather than relying on a very limited resource, we can rely on the more available, highly available resource, which are our friends. And then if you're stated to be depressed, there will be notification to your friends, and then hopefully your friends will ask you what happened, or maybe by them starting the conversation, you can be more open, and then they can give you advice. And I think advice from your friends is still much better rather than you trying to advise yourself when you're depressed, because depression totally affect the way you think. Like you cannot think straight when you're depressed, right? That's why your friends actually can help a lot, even though they're not as good as the professionals, but yeah, they're still better. And I can confirm this because actually I made this innovation based on my experience, because I have experience in it. So one of my friend, not one day actually, he's depressed for quite a long time, and then one day he want to commit suicide, and thanks God we make the right approach, and then we help him on time, so nothing bad happened. So it shows that friends are really helpful to tackle this kind of case too.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now back to me.
Yes.
It's a quite good paper and quite challenging, because the psychology is a field of social science, and it's not an exact rule that you can use to tackle the problem. It needs the feelings and instinct, or well as well as the knowledge to cure the person that have a depression. In your project, it is a project that is still ongoing, or just things that you made up for the paper?
Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Good
Yes.
morning, Pak Sony. Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
question. So for this
Okay.
project, actually, I'm planning to do it, but I haven't do it. I'm still doing more research on the technology, actually. Like I'm trying to validate whether it's possible or not. And then I asked my friends from the psychology major, is this correct or not? I mean, like the details in it, right? And then actually, I have a really big enthusiasm in making this because I see the real problem, like what I've said before, it happens to my friend. So, and he was a close friend from me, so it means a lot. And I think it's very important because I know it's not only my friend feel that, others also. And then for the technology, actually, because I'm still in the validation phase, so I'm going to tell you about it. For example, maybe the concern is we're using wearables Internet of Things, and in this case, I'm proposing smart band. And some people might think smart band, oh, isn't it expensive? But actually, it isn't because I've joined a competition before, and then we're also utilizing smart band. But none of us have it, so we buy it in Tokopedia, and we didn't buy the branded one, of course, because we don't have that much money. So we just buy the one that's not branded. It's only around 30,000, and then after we tweak it, actually it can work the way we want to. So the point is, right now I know that this solution is actually not that you know it's actually cheap. You can use it easily and you can afford it too.
Smart band. Did you say smart band? Oh,
Yes, I say smart band.
Yeah. What can you explain more about this? I'm not very familiar.
Okay, sure. So actually, smart band is a watch that have sensors. So it can
Yeah.
detect several things about you. Like usually people use it to detect their heart rate, to
Oh,
detect
okay. I
their
understand.
distance. Yeah, that one.
Can be cheap then.
Yeah.
But it's not for. It's not on. It's only detect your heart rate and pressure maybe. But it's not giving correct.
Waktunya sudah habis, Pak.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much.
For your
Thank
Siapa?
you.
Maybe ya. Maybe next to Destri.
Yang terakhir itu Melisa. Melisa dari
Melisa
FITB.
dari
ITB. Terakhir, Pak.
FITB. Okay. Next question maybe from Pak Pras. Please give a question.
Unmute, yeah. Thank you very much, Pak Sony. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning, sir.
Okay, your resources about the use of big data for developing geological field in Indonesia, yeah?
Yes.
Yes, you structure your problems into two steps. The first is how the stakeholders play roles or contribute to the geological big data development in Indonesia, and the second step is the solution itself for geological big data in Indonesia. But still, I'm still not understand about the relation of these two questions. So please explain more clear the relation between two problems stated in your articles.
Okay. Is that all, sir?
Yes. And the second, you select literature review as the methods to find solutions of the stated problems. So how do you decide this method is effective, and why this method is significant? How do you compare to other methods? Okay, that's just two questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir, for your question.
Mm.
So for the first question, it is about the correlation between the two problems I have stated in my research. So when you are talking about big data in geology, you need to understand first who is going to use this type of methods. So when I was trying to figure out who is actually going to use this, I find out that there are three stakeholders in geological big data. There are the government, and then also the company and the researcher like us. So when we are trying to figure out how to make this work for three of them, we think that they should collab. The three of them should collab together in order to actually utilize big data analysis. So because big data analysis need to collect a lot of data, we can collect a lot of data both from company and also the other resources. We need to collect the data both from company and also the other researcher. And then we need one platform for them to collab together. Therefore, I think we need this geological cloud storage where a lot of parties could contribute in the making of this cloud storage and also in the utilizing of the cloud storage itself. Is that answered your question?
Yes. So it means when you answer the first question, so you think you expect that the second questions can be also proceed, and how do you verify this?
I verify this by looking up into some website like Science Direct and also what is that, Scopus. Here there are a lot of both company and also researcher that is trying to make use of geological big data. Therefore, they are the biggest stakeholder of geological big data. And in order for them to collab, we need one platform together for both of them.
Okay. How about the second questions?
Okay.
My second questions. Yeah.
Your second question is about my methods, which is the literature review. I choose literature review because here not only in Indonesia but also in the world, there hasn't been a lot of geological cloud storage developed. That's why they're only stated in research. That's why I choose the literature review, because I can only get information from the literature that is already published.
Yes. Okay. Of course, a lot of methods for aiming your research to deal with the problems. So I think actually you can try to others methods. For example, more deeper explanation about the literature review itself. So in your article, you cite some articles, and you use the findings from the articles to develop your ideas. But actually, usually, a researcher can do more detailed content analysis of the literature. So you can dig deeper into the findings, methods, and even the context of each research, each literature you explore. So yes, of course, you have not long time to develop your thesis, but yes, I recommend you to you to explore more further methods so you can compare ones in others. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir, for the recommendation.
Okay. Thank you, Pak Sony.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Sony. Oh, silakan, Pak. Yeah.
Maybe Mr. Sony some problem with his
Internet.
Zoom.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Melissa, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
So here, me and Alvan from geology, maybe you will ask something from our field. So in your paper, you make a title utilization of big data analysis, yeah, for using it for geological cloud storage. But in your purpose, you say, as mentioned by Pak Pras, is the first is define role of stakeholder, and second one is, second is create problem solving for geological big data storage. So what you mean with the first purpose, define role of stakeholder? What you mean?
Okay, thank you, sir, for the question. So, as I already stated before, in order for us to actually utilize the big data, in order for us to actually create this solution, this geological cloud storage, we need to understand who are the people there that is going to use this method of analysis, this big data analysis. Therefore, I try to define those parties that will be able to use this method of geological cloud storage. That's why I stated in my purpose.
And how to define it? I mean, you stated government, and then maybe academician and so on. So yeah, how you define this only this society?
Okay, for defining this party, I look up for some website, like I've already stated before. I look up at Scopus and also Science Direct. There, we can see the affiliation of each research. In that affiliation section, I can see that usually those that make research on geological data, they're all related to university or researchers, and also some companies. And here I also add government, because Indonesia is a country with law, and everything that we are going to do here in Indonesia needs to be regulated in a law first. That's why I also add that government part.
So and this is become part of your purpose in your manuscript, in your article.
Yes.
Okay. So and why your geological big data story is only limitation only for exploration? Why about geological hazard and other?
I choose the energy. I choose the energy exploration because the background of my research was the Sustainable Development Goals number 7, which is related to energy access, and also technology related to energy. That's why I only choose the energy exploration. But actually, when you're trying to develop an energy system, you will also need to understand the hazardous effect in one area. So actually, this system, this geological cloud storage, should be able to cope with all that subjects. That's it.
So not only limitation to the exploration, right?
yeah, it's not only limitation to exploration, because exploration is more than only just an exploration.
Okay, I give the time for Mr. Alven. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mas. Good morning, Mel.
Morning, sir.
So I read the papers and I realized there's one big problem towards the productions of your concepts, basically. The climates of investment, not infestations, investment in Indonesia is quite different. So you are having a problem with the exclusivity of the data that belongs to a company when they explore areas for 5 years or 10 years. It depends on the agreements in the first stages of their exploration, really. So how would you gonna convince people if they would kind of release the exclusive data towards your big data concept, towards the explorations of the natural oil and gas?
Okay, thank you, sir, for the question. Related to the exclusivity of some data, I think they are also regulated in the law. I actually mentioned several laws from the Minister of Energy. Here in that law, they stated something about open data, and it is actually data that is already I think you would call it expired, so company wouldn't use it anymore. I think the aim of this geological storage will also go to those open data. That's it.
So yeah, the question is about how would you gonna convince people, because then if you use an outdated data, say from 10 years ago or 15 years ago, then the interpretation will be limited compared to nowadays data. So you have more coverage data, for example, better processing, seismic processing, and then you can see more things down there. So how are you going to convince people?
Okay. I think I already stated in my background as well that I think I would say that when we are trying to develop a new knowledge, when we are trying to develop a new technology, we will need an open data. So company who also want to develop their own technology, they also need an open data access. That's why in order to get their own open data, they also need to share their data. Like when we are trying to develop technology, this open method is the best way for us to do that. That's how I'm gonna convince them to share their data, like, because it will not only benefit, it will not only be beneficial for the government or the other researcher, but it will be also beneficial for the company itself.
Right. Thank you very much.
Oke, thank you.
Waktunya sudah habis, Pak.
Ya, baik. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
Ya, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Jangan lupa borongnya diisi segera. Nanti kita akan koordinasi lagi sebentar lagi. 10 menit setelah semua diisi. Kira-kira bisa nggak Pak Ferry?
Bisa Pak,
bisa selesai.
Belum detailnya belum masukin, hati-hati takut salah. Tapi kalau overall-nya bisa sih. Overall-nya kita bisa Pak Sony. Cuman kalau detailnya mungkin minta waktu deh, biar tidak salah.
Iya, ya. Pak Pras silakan Pak menutup ini. Ya.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Sony, Pak Ferry, Bu Gantina, Pak Alven.
Sama-sama Pak.
Ya, Mas Wira, Mbak Radiani, Pebi, Royan, Melisa, Endardwin ya. Terima kasih semua ini menyenangkan rupanya grand final ini dan fruitful ya. Artinya bukan cuma terkait dengan perjuangan Anda di Mapres ini, tapi untuk pengembangan terutama research Anda juga, karena masukannya tadi banyak dan fruitful. Mudah-mudahan bermanfaat gitu. Nah, saya mengucapkan terima kasih atas nama teman-teman di sini. Anda sudah bekerja keras memenuhi deadline, lalu sekarang join. Nah, mudah-mudahan ke depan sukses semua. Tentu juaranya satu, ini ada juara 2 dan seterusnya. Tapi itu tidak jadi alasan Anda datang di sini, tapi justru yang penting ke depan jangka panjang Anda bisa memanfaatkan event ini dengan baik itu. Anda dapat pelajaran yang baik dari sini. Oleh karena itu saya tutup ya acara penjurian ini, wawancara ini. Terima kasih banyak. Sampai ketemu lagi di lain kesempatan. Nah, tapi
Siap.
Oke, silahkan adik-adik untuk meninggalkan ruangan. Terima kasih banyak ya. Yuk.
Thank you, Sen.
Terima kasih, Pak.
Ya.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Terima kasih banyak, Pak. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih, Bu.
Nah, ini masuk.
Ya, di live, Pak.
Iya, Pak.
Baru Darwin yang masuk nih. Pak Jaska, halo. Pak Jaska.
Ya.
Bu Desri,
Iya, Pak.
sorong teleponin satu-satu gerak biar cepat.
Udah sama Tian, Pak. Teleponin sama Tian. Iya.
Oh, bagus lah.
Ya.
Ini soalnya asarnya udah lewat. Nah, ini Melisa masuk. Darwin hilang ya? Oh, Darwin masih ada.
Masih ada, Pak.
Melisa, Darwin, siapa lagi nih? Masih banyak.
Royan masuk, Pak.
Ya, Royan udah masuk. Kan serta ini ya? Ini masih Tian ya?
Ini Tian, Pak, masuk, Pak.
Iya.
Tian, supaya bisa langsung absen, Pak.
Oh, gitu. Pak Tian udah nelponin satu-satu, Pak.
Ya. Oh, Yan.
Iya, Pak.
Udah nelponin satu-satu tuh peserta suruh segera masuk.
Saya nggak ada kontaknya peserta yang lain, Pak.
Siapa?
Enggak, Tian udah kok rasanya. Tian udah semua.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Tian nggak jawab ya pertanyaannya.
2 lagi.
Oh, Tian.
Baru Darwin, Melisa, sama Royan.
Kita sudah live di YouTube ya Pak Sony?
Hah?
Kita sudah live di YouTube sekarang.
Sudah, Pak. YouTube-nya harus keluar ya.
Sebaiknya begitu Pak Sony.
Pak Pras sudah masuk ya?
Enggak.
Dengar suara Pak Pras barusan. Enggak ada ya?
Enggak ada.
Udah nyerahkan ke Bapak kayaknya, Pak.
Ini bisa jadi. Nggak tahu saya. Coba saya lihat di ini. Saya lihat di WA grup di Temawa nggak ada penyerahan ke saya, Pak.
Di ini pencerahan sih enggak, cuman tadi sudah diketok aja katanya.
Oh iya. Saya izin dulu ya.
Enggak.
Pak Ferry dan Pak Alven dan Bu Gatina ini kayaknya cukup lama ya menunggu mahasiswa ya. Saya lihat baru Melisa, Royan, Radiani, sama tadi yang pertama si ini ya, Darwin ya.
Iya Pak.
Jadi itu kan ada apa kita umumkan lewat WA saja? Karena lama juga.
Mungkin yang ini diumumkan, Pak. Sisanya di WA setelah itu. Waktunya 5 menit lagi nih juga.
Ya sudah gitu aja Pak Ferry ya, Pak Alven sama Bu Gantina, setuju nggak nih?
Boleh aja Pak.
Gitu ya. Nanti yang lain bisa di email saja atau di WA langsung. Cuman memang harusnya nggak boleh keluar dulu, tapi mahasiswa boleh tahu sih biasanya informally ya. Nanti formalnya harus lewat SK. Mungkin baru Rabu.
Ini YouTube-nya online loh Pak.
Katanya udah keluar, udah dimatikan.
Udah dimatikan ya?
Ini mah live stream Mas yang ini Mas.
Dimatikan. Udah dimatikan belum, Pak Caska?
Belum. YouTube masih online.
Masih online, Pak. Masih online ini, Pak.
Dimatikan aja dulu karena itu nggak official kalau kita umumkan sekarang.